London, in the early 17th century, had already become one of Europe's largest cities, its population approaching 500,000 people. It was crowded, energetic, and rapidly expanding, shaped by commerce, the river, and the constant movement of people through its streets and wharves. In this video, I'm using modern AI tools to breathe life into historic paintings and engravings, allowing us to shift perspective, alter camera angles, and move through scenes in ways their original creators could never have imagined. To begin, I want to focus on a place that quietly shaped everyday life in London more than almost any other: St. Paul's Cathedral. By the 1600s, Old St. Paul's was far more than a place of worship. It dominated the skyline and acted as a social, commercial, and intellectual hub at the very heart of the city. Its immense spire, one of the tallest structures in Europe before its collapse, could be seen from miles away, guiding travelers toward London long before they reached its walls. The cathedral's vast interior and surrounding yard were constantly busy. Merchants met beneath its arches, messengers exchanged news, and lawyers and clients conducted business along what became known as Paul's Walk. Rather than silence, the space was filled with conversation, footsteps, and the hum of daily life. The structure itself was a mix of medieval grandeur and decay. Centuries old by this point, St. Paul's suffered from neglect, pollution, and makeshift alterations. Scaffolding often clung to its walls, and sections of the building were rented out for shops and storage. Despite this, it remained a powerful symbol of London's identity. To pass through St. Paul's churchyard was to encounter the city in miniature. Printed pamphlets and books were sold nearby, spreading news, rumors, and political ideas. In an age before newspapers were widespread, this area played a vital role in shaping public opinion. London Bridge has stood at the heart of the city's history for nearly 2,000 years. The first bridge on this site was constructed by the Romans around the year AD 50, shortly after they founded Londinium. Its purpose was practical and strategic, to provide a reliable crossing over the River Thames, allowing troops, traders, and supplies to move quickly across the province. The Roman bridge was likely made of timber and rebuilt several times. As London grew into an important commercial center, the need for a permanent stone bridge became clear. In the late 12th century, King Henry II approved the construction of a new stone bridge, a project overseen by Peter de Colchurch, a priest and engineer. Construction began around 1176 and continued for more than 30 years. The bridge was designed not only as infrastructure, but as a self-supporting community. Rents from shops and houses built on the bridge helped fund its maintenance, repairs, and religious services. By the 1200s, the stone London Bridge was complete. It consisted of 19 narrow arches resting on massive stone piers, with a drawbridge and defensive gates at either end. These features allowed the bridge to serve both civilian and military purposes, protecting the city while controlling access across the river. London Bridge was built to support daily life. Homes, businesses, warehouses, and chapels were constructed along its length, turning it into one of the busiest streets in London. It connected the City of London in the north with Southwark in the south, linking markets, inns, and roads leading out of the capital. London Bridge was also built to generate income. Tolls, rents, and trading activity made it economically valuable, while its central position ensured constant traffic. Over time, it became essential to London's trade, governance, and communication. In the 1600s, the bridge was no longer new, but it remained indispensable. It was the only permanent crossing of the Thames in central London, forcing all north-south movement through its narrow passage. Despite congestion, fire risk, and structural strain, the bridge continued to function because the city could not operate without it. London Bridge was constructed to unite the city, protect it, and sustain it. What began as a Roman crossing evolved into a medieval engineering marvel and a living urban space. For centuries, it carried not just people and goods, but the daily life of London itself across the river. This view shows the area surrounding St. Paul's from the north, crowded with tightly packed buildings and narrow streets. By the late 17th century, the cathedral's condition had become a serious concern. Then, in 1666, the Great Fire of London would change everything. In September of that year, a small blaze quickly spread through a city built largely of timber. Strong winds and dense construction turned the fire into an unstoppable force. Old St. Paul's Cathedral became one of the fire's most dramatic casualties. Its lead-covered roof melted and poured down the stone walls, while the interior was completely destroyed. Within days, much of medieval London lay in ruins. Yet the destruction marked a turning point. The fire cleared centuries of overcrowded construction and forced the city to rethink its future. From this devastation would eventually rise the new St. Paul's Cathedral, designed by Christopher Wren. This is Covent Garden in the mid-17th century. Originally developed as a fashionable residential square, it quickly evolved into one of London's most vibrant public spaces. Markets, theaters, taverns, and street performers filled the area, drawing people from every level of society. Covent Garden became a place where social boundaries blurred. Nobles, merchants, laborers, and performers shared the same streets, making it one of the city's most lively and unpredictable districts. Its piazza represented a new kind of urban planning, more open and organized than the medieval streets elsewhere. Rising above the river, the Tower of London in the 1600s remained a powerful symbol of royal authority. By this time, it served as fortress, armory, treasury, and one of the most feared prisons in England. High-profile prisoners accused of treason were confined within its walls. The tower also housed royal records, weapons, and the crown jewels, reinforcing its role as a cornerstone of the English state. Its presence along the Thames was a constant reminder of the crown's reach. This scene shows Cheapside in 1638, one of London's most important ceremonial streets, during the procession of Marie de Medici as she entered the city. Cheapside functioned not only as a commercial center, but as a stage for royal display, lined with crosses, conduits, and temporary structures. At its center stands the Cheapside Cross, a familiar landmark and gathering point. While crowds filled the street below, moments like this revealed growing political and religious tensions. Marie's Catholic faith and foreign background unsettled a city already drifting toward conflict. This image shows Westminster in 1647, viewed from across the Thames during a period of deep national division. The Palace of Westminster stood as the seat of Parliament, while Westminster Hall hosted trials and assemblies that challenged royal authority. Beside it rose Westminster Abbey, the spiritual heart of the nation. For centuries, it had hosted coronations and royal burials. In the mid-17th century, it stood caught between tradition and upheaval as England's institutions were reshaped. At the center of the scene are Westminster Stairs, a busy river landing. Before bridges and roads dominated travel, the Thames carried politicians, clergy, and citizens directly to the center of power. This etching shows the Palace of Whitehall in 1643, then the primary residence of the monarch. Stretching along the river, Whitehall was a sprawling complex of halls and offices where royal government operated. Most of it was destroyed by fire at the end of the 17th century, leaving only the banqueting house behind. This is Greenwich Palace in the 16th and early 17th centuries. Once one of the most important royal residences near London, it was the birthplace of Henry VIII and Elizabeth I. By the 1600s, it was already declining, gradually replaced by newer palaces upriver. Over time, the palace fell into ruin, and today its site forms part of the old Royal Naval College, yet its legacy remains embedded in the landscape. Looking back on these places, it's hard not to feel how close the past still is. These streets, buildings, and moments shaped the world that followed. Through these reconstructions, we catch a glimpse of what it meant to live in London 4 centuries ago. If there's another city, another time, or another scene you'd like to see brought back to life, let me know. I'd love to continue this journey into the past with you. Thank you so much.